Every investor strives to generate a multi-bagger return, but does they have in them the patience for a stock to become one? So Rakesh Jhunjhunwala and Radhakrishna Damani are considered one of the great investors in the Indian investing landscape, and they have many multi-baggers in their portfolio, and despite that, they still hold them. So people who work with them would say that the positions built were over time, and on certain occasions, the stocks even went down by 40%, and they had the courage and conviction to buy more. And even when they went up by 10 times, they still went ahead and bought them, believing in the prospects of the company. Right? That's not very easy thing to do. Especially, usually what happens in the market is whenever there is a drawdown, people tend to be a lot more fearful. And whenever there is exuberance, people start throwing money around it. When Nifty was at 26,000, so the SIPs were actually increasing till such point of time. But again, if you look at the February data, I think the SIP amount has decreased when the market has corrected by over 15-20%. So what sets these great investors apart from the crowd is their conviction to hold these stocks for more than 10, 15, and 20 years as well. Now let's look at a stock which happens to be one of the great Indian stories, and let's just call it a stock Z. The index I have compared it with is Nifty 50, as this is a large cap stock now. So even before seeing how it had performed over 25 years, let's look at two periods where it has underperformed Nifty. So for year 2009, just after the global financial crisis, so its drawdown was more than the index actually, if you look at this part, right? And its recovery was much like the index. So at that point of time, they have both ended at a similar place. So now let's just look at the second period between 2020 and 2022. So in this 3 years time, right? So the Nifty recovery was a lot better compared to this stock. And in this 3 years time, it has generated a return of around 27% absolute terms, right? Nifty, on the other hand, has generated close to 49%. So that is an alpha of approximately over 22% in the in the 3 years from 2020 beginning to 2022 ending. So it would definitely test the patience of an investor, and most likely most of the investors who thought they had conviction in this stock and they wanted to hold this would have exited it because of this 3 year period of non-performance. So now let's look at the chart which shows the amount of wealth this stock has generated over time. So this is 90 from January 1, 1999 to present day, right? This particular stock went up by 310 times. If somebody has invested around 100, so this would have been something like this, right? On the other hand, Nifty has generated around 26 times. Of course, Nifty 50 has done a great job. 26 times compounding is amazing. But it pales in front of the comparison of this stock. And in this 25-year period, there are multiple periods where Nifty has performed as much as this stock. And there are periods where this stock has underperformed Nifty. But over the long run, this has delivered stellar returns. So now let's look at the rolling returns. What these are the ones which actually matters, right? These are across the 9 different horizons: 1 year, 2, 3, 5, 7, 10, 15, 20, and 25, right? And there's not a single instance across these time horizons has Nifty done better job compared to the stocks. So the minimum, beat minimum, maximum, median, or mean. And even if you look at the positive instances, this stock has actually turned positive after year 5, right? Even at the year 8, the number of instances are less than 2%. Compared to Nifty 50, the instances, positive instances were negative instances were here were less than 2%. Here the negative instances were slightly over 8%, right? So even on the year 1 basis, it has done exceptionally well, right? If to just prove how resilient this stock was, if somebody has invested in 2010 and liquidated this during the COVID drawdown, right? Again, COVID happens to be one of the worst times for this stock. Despite that, the stock would have generated a return slightly over 12%, because on a 10-year basis, 12% is the minimum return, right? If you look at the medians, median, if you look at it, it's around 12% for the Nifty 50. For the stock, it is like around 23%, 22, 23%. A 10 percentage point outperformance over such a long duration, right? So even during the COVID, the person would have made around 12%, right? Compare that with Nifty, which was around 3.7%. So this is how great investors actually make money, by identifying a great company, sitting tight, and enjoying the roller coaster ride the stock takes them through. Unfortunately, many investors associate this generation of superior returns with the intraday or derivative trading. So unfortunately, they think buying at 10 rupee 20 pice and selling at 10 rupees 50 pice is what makes them huge amounts of money. But that's never the case. So even an investor, maybe probably you may not be having crores of rupees, but with a good conviction, if you have invested even a smaller amounts on a monthly basis, then this stock would have given you a great return. So, but again, for this, you need to do a lot of research and a lot of studying is required. If you are someone with a day job and who intends to find such opportunities, then it is better you find an active fund manager who can help you in generating superior returns. Again, for that to be possible, probably you have to read about the fund manager, have to read his documents, maybe see some of his past interviews and the performance and everything. So in the video description below, we have provided links on how to choose a mutual fund, how to evaluate a fund manager, and build a performance tracker. So that can be one process which can help you in identifying an active fund manager. If you are someone who doesn't have time even to do that, probably you will be better off with an index, because index over a long durations of time will give you over it like around 12% of return. If you look at the 25-year return time, so the minimum is around 10.73% and the maximum at 13.3662%. If you are somebody who is investing on a regular basis with the right asset allocation, you will end up somewhere here. So this video is for educational purpose only. It is neither a recommendation to buy nor sell the asset class in discussion. Thank you.